Hey all, Pastor Stacy here. Today I am bringing you a reflection from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And the reflection for reflections from this series, if you will, this group of reflections that I'm bringing forth are from Dietrich's book titled God is on the Cross. And these are reflections, which he has he's kind of assigned to Lent and Easter, but the themes and the topics that they kind of address or kind of are kind of packaged under or kind of lumped under are relevant at all times of the year. They aren't only valid during Easter and Lent. So prayer, self-denial, suffering, temptation, these are all things that happen, situations which we encounter all year round. And so at this time during COVID, I think temptation can be a tougher one, along with kind of understanding maybe suffering, why we suffer, and also taking time for prayerful reflection and how important that is. And having said all of that, I will fully admit I have had a very hard time with COVID, and it's been very difficult. And I invite you to grab your Bible. This particular reflection has us looking at Psalms. It's it's actually a one-liner. Psalm 5, verse 3. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. Again, Psalm 5, verse 3. O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. And Bonhoeffer has this to say. The title of this particular reflection is titled, God is not a matter of mood. We say that religion is a matter of mood. We must wait until the mood strikes us. And then we often wait for years, perhaps until the end of our life, until we are once again in the mood to be religious. This idea is based on a great illusion. It is all well and good to let religion be a matter of mood, but God is not a matter of mood. God is still present even when we are not in the mood to meet with God. In religion, as in art and science, there are, in addition to times of great excitement, there are times of sober work and practice. Interaction with God must be practiced. Otherwise, we will not find the right tone, the right word, the right language, and when God surprises us. We must learn God's language. We must learn it laboriously and work at it so that we will be able to talk with God. And here's a quote from one of Bonhoeffer's books, from his book titled Psalms. The morning prayer determines the day. Squandered time of which we are ashamed, temptations to which we succumb, weaknesses and lack of courage in work, disorganization and lack of discipline in our thoughts and in our conversation, all have their origin most often in the neglect of morning prayer. So Bonhoeffer's remarks about God is not a matter of mood. God is still present, even when we are not in the mood to meet. And I like this part. If you think of this, if you think of it, anyone who has a hobby or a skill that you have honed, that you have gotten very good at, whether it's shooting free throws, the three-pointer, whether it's hitting that slap shot, or is that the right word? I apologize. Hockey's not my forte. That's a title from a movie, I think, isn't it? Okay. Anyways, I digress. Picking up crocheting or knitting, playing piano, baking, cooking, being a potter, building a home, fixing a car. All of those things, all of those actions take hours and hours of practice and continued practice in order to get it done well, so that you know it when something is wrong. You know when something is just a little off, right? When you're making cookie dough. So I've gotten to this point where I've made cookies every weekend. When I was growing up, I made chocolate chip cookies for my dad every weekend. And so with that, I could get to a point where you can just kind of feel the texture and the consistency of the batter. Yeah, there's enough flour in here. People who make bread, who make pie crust, it's the same thing. And there's no difference with our relationship with God. It's not a total one-way street. And the reason, there's multiple reasons for this, right? But one of the advantages of having this practiced conversation with God is that we are much more easily able to hear and to notice and acknowledge when it is that we see that God is present in the world, if that makes sense. Remember, I don't speak off the cuff very well. So what I'm trying to say is, the more often we practice at something, the more often we listen to God, the more often we talk to God, the more often we are observing people and opening ourselves up to being accepting of the fact that God is working through us, and being accepting of the fact that people may say, oh my gosh, that was just what I needed. And on the flip side too, right? So on the flip side, noticing when God is working through other people, when God is giving us this sign. I personally have never had extreme thunderbolt signs. I've always had little nudges. And those little nudges sometimes can be as annoying as all get up. But that's what I need. Something real drastic is going to probably not convince me. So God is not a matter of mood. Again, what Bonhoeffer is saying in this particular reflection, if we wait for the mood to strike us, it may never happen. And as Bonhoeffer reminds us, And this is one of the things that I really want to stress, as I cannot stress it enough in the midst of this, in the midst of COVID-19, is that God is with us. God is walking beside us. God knows what's happening. Did God make this happen? No. Is God punishing you? No. Why is this happening? I don't have an answer for that. But I do know that God is with us and is working good through it. So I pray that you have a good day, a good evening. I pray that your week is blessed. I pray that you live with peace. And I pray that you be safe.